Well, we can't miss a podcast with what happened last week. We had a visit from Joe Biden, the President of the United States of America. And as a military enthusiast, what I got from his visit, firstly, the fascinating amount of military hardware that was flying around the skies of Mayo. We had a pair of Chinooks doing various flights during the day and night in the area. We also had visits from President One, the helicopters, the presidential helicopters as well. And it did call into question. I didn't think to myself, like, what would be the next class of helicopter that the Irish Defence Forces will end up procuring over the next couple of years. There was a very substantial security sweep done on obscure places like Ballina, Crossmolina and Swinford. There was a lot of, there were many Secret Service guys spotted, and they did a very substantial sweep in those areas, as I said. And it does raise the question, what role did our own Irish Defence Forces have in that particular operation? And again, the Guards as well. And furthermore, do we provide the same services to our own VIPs when they go abroad? That raised some interesting questions. Joe Biden's speech in Ballina, he announced a couple of interesting things. Firstly, Nora Patton is an astronaut, and either she has Irish roots or she is Irish, is indeed going to space. And also it was announced that a new battleship or destroyer is being named after Patrick J. Gallagher, who's a veteran who died in the Vietnam War, a very distinguished hero. And it does begin, I do ask the question, is that just the naming of a particular ship, or is it a particular class of ships? If it's a particular ship, that's fantastic. It's incredible to have, because normally those ships are named after presidents or senators or even a state in the United States. But to have it named after someone in particular, that's quite significant. But furthermore, if it's a class of ship, for example, currently we have the Arleigh Burke class of missile frigates, and if the Patrick J. Gallagher class is replacing that, then we're going to be seeing those ships on the ocean horizons, patrolling the oceans for the next 20, 30, 40 years, which is very, very significant. Just getting back to the man, Joe Biden. I mean, what are the odds that somebody 200 years ago, his family literally immigrated with nothing to the United States, to be able to come back as a president some 200 years later? It just shows that what were they up to over the last 200 years? And in my mind, it suggests to me that, once they went over there, like it was you had to interact and you had to bond with your local, your family, your community, subscribe to various clubs and organizations that promoted the Irish culture and the Irish diaspora. It's important from then to keep those traditions and culture alive, even though you're no longer at home. And this is the result of it. There's a word for that, and I suppose how could you better describe it was the fact when that in Knock, I mean, what are the odds that the chaplain that gave the last rites to Joe Biden's son, Beau Biden, who died of brain cancer, happened to be retired and living in Knock, and Joe happens to finds out about it. I mean, that's called serendipity. It's when you do so much good stuff that things start to happen out of pure coincidence. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful example of it. going on as well. The message that I was getting from Joe's visit, the question is like, will we ever see another Irish American president coming over, or will we ever see any VIP from any other part of the world return to Ireland? And it does open the idea that we do have to maintain our links with our diaspora overseas, and going forward into the future, there's an awful lot of opportunities to be got from that. And it just goes to show you that, like, you have Joe Biden, the President of the United States of America from Ballina, Mary Robinson, the first female Irish president from Ballina. Um, to me, that suggests that there's something in people from the west of Ireland in general, that we have what's called mehel, and it just means that we're so much better at forming relationships, forming clubs, and forming movements. And sure, we're better crack at it too, to be honest. That's all I have to say. Take care.